Welcome to the Football Critters Podcast. I'm your host, the Otter, and my co-hosts with me are
The bear.
And the moose.
Moosey.
Moose.
Every
Moosey.
time.
I love some Moosey.
Every time, even though it's only the second.
It's just fun to say, you know? Just gets me all pumped up for the day.
It's just a strong word. Just a
Yeah.
strong word to describe a strong man.
I appreciate it, guys.
But today we're going to discuss the other half of the AFC. Start with the AFC West, and then we'll go talk about the AFC North. So let's start with the Broncos.
Yeah, I really got to thank, Broncos Nation for paying for Russell Wilson for us for a year. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Bronco Nation, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Now, what's the new slogan for you now? Please no. Wait. Keep it PG. No, we're not doing that. I'm taking it back.
I mean, you asked.
I'm going to mute you. I'm going to figure out how to mute you.
Oh.
It's Steelers Forge.
I mean, you asked.
Smell. I know, and I regretted it instantly.
What did he actually say? It was pretty lame, wasn't it?
What
he actually said?
What the bear said?
No, but what Wilson said.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
It was really lame, I think.
I don't even
Already
remember. That's how
forgettable.
bad it was.
We were all upset about it either way.
He had all this time to think of how legendary it was going to be. It just let us all down.
I mean, I know what it actually should be, but
Yeah, we're not going there.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to say
it. I mean, whatever. I could just delete it if you say it anyway.
It only smelts.
It's only smelts. Do you know that? Do you know that video?
He said, "Here we go." That's all.
Here we. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's the other wonderful Steelers chant.
Yeah.
The first time I heard them chanting that when I was out at Pittsburgh, I'm like, "Is this really something they chant? Like they actually chant this?"
And then you go to the Eagle Stadium and they have a whole song.
Oh yeah.
Well, they got a lot of time in the off season to think of stuff like that.
What? They've been doing it for years.
They've been doing it forever.
Yeah, because they were bad forever.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the Broncos.
Well, that was about the Broncos. It was about they released Russell Wilson is paying $39 million to play on a different team.
Which is absolutely insane.
Has this ever happened before?
I think it was a record, wasn't it?
Oh, it definitely is a record. The only one that was like comparable was maybe the Carson Wentz trade.
Yeah, I think that was like third or second.
I mean, and it's wild that they got rid of Justin Simmons, but I mean, I understand they're in a tough spot. But man, he's been such a core piece to that defense for years, man. I kind of feel for the guy, and I'm blown away that he hasn't been picked up yet.
I know.
I thought he was going to be like a day one signing.
He's so good. I love him. He's one of my favorite safeties to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going through some hard times, it seems.
Yeah, it's a punt year, and probably a year or two. I don't blame him, and he's older.
That's true. Well, how old is he? What, 30 something? 30?
Yeah, I think he is 30.
Yeah, I mean, what Sean Payton's is like, this isn't my team. I'm making it my team now.
Yeah, he's exactly 30 years old.
Okay. So, I mean, what was that? You can get some good play, another good 2 years out of him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
God, that sounds gross to say, honestly.
Yep.
We can labor him for 2 more years before he's broken.
I cannot imagine how bad it feels to be a Broncos fan right now. They're probably all becoming Raiders fans.
Oh, no.
I mean, no,
they would
no.
never. Absolutely. Bear.
They're doing something the Steelers never done, which is rebuild. So they're not just going in the first round of playoffs or missing playoffs.
I don't know what you're talking about. We just traded our quarterback to you guys. We're rebuilding. We got Justin Fields now. I don't know what we were talking about. We're in full rebuild. Let's go. We got rid of 3 quarterbacks and brought 3 new ones in. Let's go. Sounds like a rebuild to me.
If I was a Broncos fan, I would be excited for the rebuild because I mean, obviously, it was not working. Russell Wilson was a huge get when it first came out, and then the results were just god
bad.
awful. And trading away that much for him, I'm glad that they got rid of him or just doing a complete rebuild.
See, the trade itself, well, I don't think was a bad idea. I think it was paying him right before the season even started to see what the train wreck that was coming was. They literally
Yeah,
paid him like all that money for the next 4 years.
yeah,
That
but
was, I think, the big mistake.
yeah. I mean, Russ Wilson did have a down year, I guess, before he left Seahawks. But I
Yeah,
mean, it was still Russell Wilson, and
right.
I mean, it was just abnormal for him to crash so hard as he did.
The hard part was kind of discerning, okay, is it the coaching that was the problem or is it Russell Wilson? Because there was both parties
Yeah,
were saying it was one over the other. And
yeah.
look, he has obvious weaknesses, and it doesn't fit Sean Payton's scheme at all. Like,
No.
he's not a mental key that Drew Brees was that can fully implement his offense. So,
Yeah, when you mesh a one-way coach with a one-way quarterback, it's never gonna work.
so you just get yourself a one-way quarterback, but they're all going the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
we'll see it.
mean, it doesn't help that, their star running back was injured 2 years in a row, and the O-line struggled, it seemed like, quite a bit in the games I watched, but
Yeah, the O-line was not helping Russ at all.
yeah.
And they invested so much into it. It is a real shame that happened.
And, they lost their star center this year, so there goes one of your okay pieces on the line. I mean,
Mhm.
it's gonna be a rocky year for them.
Has Garrett Bowles been good? I know he had the huge
He's
year.
he's his name gives him more. He's average. His
That's
name,
kinda what I think of him, yeah.
Yeah.
like, you're not sad that he's on your team, but everyone overhypes him, I feel like.
Yeah,
But if
he had
I'm,
that one Pro Bowl year, and then I was that was kinda it,
the only problem is though is like Russell always made the O line worse because he held the ball for so long.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and he tried to do his escape artist shit.
Which he's not as fast as he used to be.
And I
Exactly.
mean, also Jerry Jeudy seems to have taken a step back. I mean, and I don't really think that helped in the passing game as well.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. It's so hard to judge any of those wide receivers.
I mean, I think Sutton is really good still.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I've
Like
been
I
a
still
I
think Jerry
and
Jeudy
I
has potential.
well, and I like Jeudy a lot coming out, and feel like he keeps getting worse, and he can't stay healthy, and I hope it works out for him on the Browns, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's only there for a year or two. I mean, like, if he keeps going on this route.
Yeah, especially if the Browns have to make business decisions,
Yeah.
Well,
which they will
$60
have
million
to. So,
dollars in cap space is coming, buddy.
yeah, I was gonna say, should I turn
Yeah.
if into when?
Knocking on the back door. It's like, hey, it's time to pay up.
How do
I'm
you
rooting
guys
for Judy though.
how do you
Yeah,
guys
I
feel
am
about
too.
any of these signings specifically they picked up? Is there anybody that kind of
Uh,
stands out that you like, or are
Mm,
you guys kind of
I
just
I just
meh?
want to say yuck. That's
yeah.
the only thing I can say. I'm looking
Yeah.
at the list and I'm like, ugh, God, looks like they went to Goodwill for some of these signings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're filling holes. That's all they're doing. It feels like.
Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Putting bodies there, but
that's a good point.
That's pretty
Well,
much all they're doing.
you can crawl through a hole, you know. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't like. I mean, the Brandon Jones I always liked, but I think was kind of an overpay. I don't think he was that good. I would rather have kept Justin Simmons for that price range than replace him with Brandon Jones. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Cody
Well,
Barton's is terrible as a
I don't know
linebacker.
much about him. I mean, I think Brandon Jones is the only one I really know offhand as well. But even so, I never thought of him as that great.
Oh my god, yeah, Cody Barton. What the fuck?
Why were you just looking up his stats or what?
No, it just clicked. I saw he was from the Commanders. I'm like, oh shit, is that guy?
Yeah. The liability.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's crazy they got paid.
Though I will say I do like Adam Troutman as a potential. he always is like always seemed like he was primed to have a breakout year with the Saints.
Oh yeah,
He
he's
just
from the
couldn't get it
Saints. Yeah.
right. So, but all their weapons over there kind of didn't really give him the opportunity. I don't think the offensive scheme really matched him. Plus, he got hurt a couple times, so
Mm.
I think he's gonna fit right in with Peyton. So that's kind of the one pick I would say is I like, and then Tim Patrick restruck the contract they gave him because I always wanted to see him succeed, and he just kept getting hurt.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say the same thing. I really like Tim Patrick as a player, but
Fingers crossed on an actual full year, please.
yeah, exactly. And they got Marvin Mims, who I really
Oh
like too.
yeah, did they?
Yeah, they still have Marvin Mims.
Okay,
He's
Are
only
you sure about that?
yeah, he got drafted by them. Marvin Mims Jr.
yeah, he's on the team.
He's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he's only
okay, I'm
22.
mixing him up. Alright.
Yeah, with the other Mims from Baylor.
Yeah, because that Mims went to the Steelers this year in the offseason. Denzel Mims, I'm sorry.
He went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was kind of a quiet signing.
Yeah.
But overall, what do you guys think? Grade wise?
F.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd probably
sorry to
do.
be so quick with it, but
Yeah, I'd
hey,
probably
Hey,
do a D. I'd probably do a D just because they are making it obvious what the plan is. They're not trying to make blockbuster trades or signs or anything like that. They're kind of punting, like I said
yeah,
earlier. I mean, they're not trying.
I would.
So
Yeah, I would give you an F. I think I would only give a team an F if you were trying to be a better team
exactly,
this next year and failing miserably because you're overpaying for mid talent.
exactly.
So I would go with I like the D idea. You convinced me. I was kind of torn between the two as well.
Yeah,
But
I don't think they paid like anyone outrageous money or anything.
yeah,
I mean, I will say it looks like 3 of the 5 starting linemen are okay. They still got Quinn Myers, who probably is gonna be their new center if I had
oh,
to guess.
I love him so much.
I did too. Yeah, he's a monster. And Ben Powers is pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not terrible. And Garrett Bowles, he's not gonna, be the best, but he isn't gonna kill you either.
yeah.
And we still have the draft.
I like what you're saying. I could totally see them looking a lot better in a more of a fast paced, quick throwing offense where they don't have to block for more than 2.5, 3 seconds.
And I think it's
Yeah.
pretty obvious they're gonna draft a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean,
I would be
I just
shocked.
hope they don't. I hope they don't give up 3 first-round picks again to go get him. Uh,
Yeah.
that's my only scare with them.
Yep.
I mean, they
Anything's
still have Barrett
possible.
Browning. I hope he keeps improving. I'm trying to look at who else they really have here, man. The secondary scares me. I mean, it's Surtain, and then I mean they got Riley Moss. He could
Hey,
still be on the up.
watch out for
Ugh,
Jaquan McMillan. I'll say that. He
I
played
don't know much about
lights.
him.
He played lights out as a undrafted rookie and at the slot position. He did kind of. He had like 2 bad games at the end of the year, but he was solid, more than what you'd expect. But you're right. You get it's very thin. It's a good class for them to pick someone up. Let's do the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions, who seem like they're not doing anything but
I
re-signing
mean,
some key players.
they've made more moves than I expected. I will say that.
I like the moves that they've
Yeah,
done.
I didn't think they were gonna keep
The
Tranquil.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like is them losing Willie Gay, but
Well,
Can't
I
pay
think
them
that's what
all.
they were like. You're gonna have to take one of them, Drew Tranquil or Willie Gay.
I thought
yeah,
both of them were gonna hit the market, to be honest. I mean, with Leo Chanel and Bolton, I thought they would maybe draft somebody and pick up somebody real cheap. But no, they paid Tranquil. I mean, he played very well.
yeah, definitely.
Definitely a lot to like there. I just thought with their cap space that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, he's a fun dude to root for too because of his personality.
Yeah, definitely.
And getting rid of Scantling was an absolute must.
That was
He
probably
was so bad it hurt.
one of the most no-brainer moves they had to make this offseason.
Yeah,
And of course, he plays pretty good during the playoffs, though. Doesn't drop a
yeah.
pass in the playoffs. They always seem to do that. Like they always like mess around. Like the Chiefs as a whole mess
Mhm.
around throughout the regular season. All of a sudden, they just decide everyone's going to be good again. It's like stop it. Do the opposite this year.
Yeah, exactly.
The Snead trade was definitely not the way I thought it was going to go. I mean, I did not think the Titans would be trading picks away to build their team. I thought they'd be in a total rebuild.
The
I
Chiefs.
think it's a good move for them.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
how old
I
is he?
agree. He's not. Isn't
He's
his fifth year
27,
option?
I think.
Yeah, I mean that's not too bad. Even if you are in a slight rebuild.
Slight?
They're not. They're like retooling for a third
Yeah,
year run. They're going in.
yeah. I don't think the Titans are throwing.
Oh, you're
Like,
talking about the Titans as a rebuild, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't think the Titans are throwing.
I was thought you were talking about the Chiefs. I don't know why.
The only thing that bugs me about their weakness, which is wide receiver, I would say, we're going into a draft where there's so many good ones.
I know.
Like they
I
could be
think
leaving the first round with a really good wide receiver, and I hate the thought of that.
uh, it's going to be disgusting. Whoever they take is going to be great.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Marquise Brown, Rashee Rice, and Travis Kelsey. I mean, is not a bad group to be thrown to. You know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
imagine if somehow they got Brian
Thomas.
Thomas, yeah. I mean, oh god. If they move up just a little in the draft, if he does fall, oh, I would hate them moving up and getting somebody like that.
Oh God. So yeah, you're like
What they get.
Marquise Brown, you're 3 pretty much. Well, Thomas would probably take it some time to develop because Marquise Brown's kind of already a good prospect right now.
Like they could get Corley. There's some guys that I look at and I'm like, oh, I could see them totally using this guy well.
I think Marquise Brown was good for them though, because in the sense that they can just throw it.
Yeah.
He has a deep threat now.
Yeah,
Like, he has that
Yeah.
speed. So
and he definitely will complement Rice.
yes, exactly what I was trying to get at. Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a great signing.
And then obviously the big money maker like Chris Jones. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, they had
insane.
to.
Watching him play like those last 2 quarters of the Super Bowl, he was just an absolute game wrecker.
He always is a game wrecker.
That's true, but on the biggest stages,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no doubt. That whole team is like that though.
yeah, pisses me off.
I wonder if they'll re-sign Hardman.
I thought he signed with he's on the Rams right now.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they didn't re-sign Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Oh no. It's
That was a
over.
huge bust.
I didn't even like it when he came out. Wasn't that big of a fan.
Yeah, it's so hard not to give if you're running the ball, not to give it to Pacheco.
Oh yeah, he's good,
He's so
especially
good.
yeah, that
Yeah.
offensive line grading them through. Like it's the perfect blend. He's so much power to knock over small linebackers and corners. But yeah, I think they had a really solid free agency, just keeping the big main pieces. I'm curious how they're going to address the cornerback position with trading L'Jarius Sneed away because they
Or
didn't
maybe a
get.
safety.
Yeah, I mean they could always. I like their safeties. I think they're pretty solid. They could always use an upgrade though, for sure. Yeah, I'm just curious how they're going to deal with the L'Jarius Sneed trade because they didn't really get a prime pick for him this year, so they're not going to have like an instant replacement for him.
Yeah.
No, but it's a pretty deep corner draft.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that the top pick is I would bet that their top pick would be a cornerback.
Either that or wide
That would
receiver.
be. You're right. That would be them. They would totally do that.
Yeah.
Ugh, God. I don't want them to do anything. I wish they just forfeit all their picks. I just have Chiefs fatigue. That's all. Not that I actually like how they run the team. Like they're the way they run things is
Yeah, amazing.
just absolutely fantastic. We only say that because
Yeah.
we're jealous.
But all in all, I mean, I think I would give them, with the cap space they have, I'd say it's a solid B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they've made it work pretty well with what they got. I mean,
yeah. Their team's already good. They got an upgrade in Marquise Brown over Scantling. So
I'm curious to see Derek Nadi come back.
Also, I mean, there's still some pretty big name cornerbacks still available. Like Xavier Howard or something like that.
oh yeah,
I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see what they're. I mean, it'll definitely be an interesting
I don't know what the cap
spot.
looks like either, but
what if they just take Patrick Peterson? How happy would that make you?
I might cry. Be like, I'm free. I got my sock like Dobby.
Wait, is Kendall Fuller still with it?
No,
No.
he's not.
No.
Did he go to the? I think he went to Miami.
I was gonna say that'd be I feel like he'd fit on that Chiefs defense, but
I 100% agree. Oh, it was with the Dolphins. You're right.
yeah, all right.
See, I'm right every once in a
I
while. 1 for
knew that.
3.
I knew that was gonna come. I knew he went somewhere with we previously talked, but we keep saying so many names.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think they're doing good to make another huge run this year, and
Definitely.
you're always gonna have a chance for a Super Bowl again anyway with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So
Yeah.
as long as that defense is still strong, I think they can do whatever in the draft and just keep developing. They're good.
Yeah. Hey, Kendall Fuller
Alright.
was on the Chiefs. I forgot about that. He was on the
Yeah.
Chiefs for 1 year.
It's like we're talking about all these ex Chiefs. It's like, oh yeah,
All right, next up we got the Raiders.
the
Raiders.
Raiders.
The Raiders.
We're in Vegas now. We're a different team, even though we're doing the same things.
I want to give
Team
them
as
this.
beautiful as their owner.
Yo, I do love their chant, like the Raiders.
Yeah, it's a
It
classic.
is fun. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Just as creepy as the owner.
It's not. We're just doing it creepy. It's not actually creepy when like a real person does it.
When a real person, yeah.
I mean, it'd be creepy when Davis does it.
Yeah.
I want to see the owner do it. That'd be hilarious. I wonder if there's a clip of him doing it. But yeah, so with the new guy, Antonio Pierce taking over, not new, but they're hiring their interim as their full-time coach now.
Which I think is a great idea.
I love what he did,
Yeah.
the culture he brought in, and I think he's bringing a lot of tougher guys to kind of implement that culture. Like get this big beefy boy Christian Wilkins up on the front, stop the run game finally.
Yep.
Because they haven't had that. Like I think they had Jerry Tillery last year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Did they?
they released him.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And he's
Judging-
terrible at run defense, and they needed somebody like Christian Wilkins for contract that's not too bad, I don't think, for what he is. Like you're going to need a good DT like him is hard to get, so you have to kind of pay a little bit extra for him.
I didn't think it was a bad contract at all for him.
Yeah, that D-line needs help for sure. It definitely looks like they're going to be running the ball a lot moving forward. I mean, the fact that they picked up Harrison Bryant, Alexander Madison, they re-signed the center, they got rid of Hunter Renfrow, their second highest ball catcher. I mean, it looks like they're going to go full on run game going into this year.
It's a shame they couldn't re-sign Josh Jacobs.
I don't understand it.
Amazing.
I really thought that was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I thought he was into their culture.
That really made me scratch my head.
Because Alexander Madison, I don't think is a
Nope.
It always seemed like he has the potential, and everyone would hype him up, and then he would just disappoint every time.
Yeah, and he would only flash like when Cook got injured, and then like the team would prep for Cook, and then Cook would go out, and Madison would come in, and he would flash.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder if they really think Zamir White's the guy now.
Oh, that's a good point. They would have to at this point, right? Because then there's they re-signed Amir Abdullah, who I always liked as their scat back.
Yeah, I mean, they got 5 running backs on the roster right now. And right now, it looks like they have 5 wide receivers. I mean, I guess looking at this, them having Jacoby Myers, I guess makes sense why they would get rid of Hunter Renfrow. I mean, it looks like Jacoby's really come into his role. But man, they have like I said, they only have 5 wide receivers on the roster right now. So unless they're making moves, it's going to be in the draft.
I think it was also a good idea that they re-signed Andre James, that center that you were talking about. It's smart to keep that continuity on the offensive line, because continuity is the next best thing they can have.
Yeah, I mean, they got Dylan Parham there, who's pretty decent too at left guard. I really don't know the other 3 that well enough to comment on them.
Who, Colton Miller?
Yeah.
I like him. He's always been solid. And DJ Fluker, I don't really know that well.
I don't really know him at all.
I heard that the head coach said that Aiden O'Connell is probably the projected starter.
Really?
which is crazy.
It is crazy.
He'll probably just make it a camp battle if they couldn't get a guy in the draft between
Yeah.
Gardner and Aiden O'Connell. And I didn't think Aiden played terrible, but I think getting Gardner to push him, because I think they're comparable. I would say Gardner's better, but if it helps push Aiden O'Connell to develop, like that's
Yeah,
nothing
that's
but a great
true.
thing.
I mean,
Just looking at their roster, like as of right now, like man, and at draft time, there's two names that come to mind for me that I think they would really go for, and that's Nate Wiggins at corner and Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker. Yeah, that looks like they're two holes on the defense. I mean, we don't know what other moves they're gonna make, but I mean, there's definitely some holes at corner and linebacker. I mean,
No, they have Divine Diablo. They don't need anybody
Robert
else.
Spillane.
They don't need anybody else.
When I watched Robert Spillane against the Steelers, I was just like, oh, I'm so glad you're gone.
Though
I
he did
don't
play
miss
pretty
you.
well. I actually didn't hate watching him play on the Raiders. He had some flashes. Like he wasn't fantastic, but and
I
Divine
love playing
Diablo
against him.
similarly. Like I did, you guys laugh, and I laughed too. But I did kind of have like a soft spot for Diablo.
yeah, I know you do.
I don't know why.
It's just so funny that he had to go to the Raiders. Like that
I
was
know.
actually a joke
Yeah.
going into that draft. Was oh he has to be a Raider.
They have so many spots to fill. I mean,
They
it's
do.
a lot.
And
They
their
didn't re-
their backups are just like a lot of people I've never heard of.
Yeah, their only good spot is their D line, I think, and obviously Devontae Adams, but they got so much to do still. It's
Oh, yeah.
another going to be another retooling, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. That will take a year or two.
Yeah, I don't think they'll really figure it out until they know who their quarterback's going to be. I don't think
Yeah.
they see either of those two actually as their future. So
I
I'm
think
excited to see what they do.
Do we know how Tyree Wilson has been?
he didn't have a great rookie season.
No, he didn't. I mean, we all
It's a
knew he was going
shame.
to be raw, but I
Yeah.
expected at
I
least a
thought he's
little
gonna
bit
be better than
more.
this though. I mean, I really liked him coming out.
Yeah, same. That's why I was
Everyone,
asking.
everyone saw him as like Trayvon Walker-esque level of rawness, but even Trayvon showed more his first year.
Trying to remember who I thought he reminded me of. I hit delete right after the draft every year on these guys. But otherwise my mind would just be brain dead. But I mean, I really liked him coming out.
What did you guys think overall, though? Any thoughts on the moves? What your grade
Probably,
is?
I mean, I'd probably say it's C plus, and I would probably go lower if it wasn't for the Christian Wilkins deal. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I gotta go D plus here because I mean they got 5 wide receivers on the team right now, and only 2 of them are really worthy. And it's like if they get one injury, man, they're not gonna be passing the ball that much.
yeah, I mean, they definitely won't have 5 receivers coming into the start of the season. They'll definitely change that by then. But
Well, I'm saying at this point, but
yeah.
also when you look at their cornerback room, I mean it is gross.
yeah.
You know, it's those 2 positions alone are rough. Divine Diablo has gotten a little better, but I don't think he would start on many teams.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, I really think the linebacker room is pretty awful as well. And I mean, look, Tyree Wilson could come back this year and, you know, really light it up like we thought he would. But something tells me them paying Christian Wilkins a bunch of money, I have a feeling they're not true believers. You know what I mean? With all the other holes they have, it doesn't make a lot of sense that they'd spend money at a position where they just spent some serious draft capital on if they believed in him.
Do they run a 3-4?
I don't know if I want to call it a
Because
3-4. I
I
mean,
thought
I guess it
I thought it was a
is.
4-3.
I don't know. There's so many hybrid fronts nowadays. It's hard.
And they've
Yeah.
gone through so many coaches in the last few years that the scheme has changed up quite a bit, a
Yeah.
handful of times.
Though they kept their defensive coordinator from last year. He was what was his name? He was on the
Patrick Graham.
Giants. Yeah, he was on the Giants a couple years ago. I always liked his defenses. So, and I think they played up to snuff last year for being so limited, other than with only having Max Crosby. I don't know. I do. If you're right, if it wasn't for the Christian Wilkins pickup, it would definitely be a D. I'm gonna give it a C minus for myself.
Yeah.
I think they did, like
That's
you said,
fair.
they're retooling, so can't really ask them to do much more than that. But you still need some good starters, so I'm glad they picked some like Harrison Bryant and Christian Wilkins up.
Yeah, I like the Harrison Bryant pickup.
Yeah,
I like him.
I was low key hoping the Seahawks would take him,
Of course.
especially for that price.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was stuck behind some really good talent in the
Oh,
on
like who? Who the heck was he stuck behind?
Who knows? He
But
like blew up his face or something.
yeah, you don't want a guy like that on your team.
Yeah,
He
bad
he
influence.
probably got released right after.
Yeah, bad influence.
But all right, let's move on to the Chargers here.
Oof.
Oof.
Oh
You
yeah,
mean the
let's
team that's going to
go.
draft the entire Michigan draft class?
Yeah, I'm so curious to see how they build this thing up though. Like this rebuild is going to be insane. I don't know with the how they're going to utilize Justin Herbert with a Roman offense. I guess we're not really
Yeah.
analyzing the roster right now. We're just analyzing the signings overall.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, they've spent a lot of money over the last few years, and it's starting to catch up to them. I mean,
Yeah,
this is just what happens.
they're completely getting rid of contracts of older and well, pretty much older and like not as skilled players.
Yeah, I mean, Eckler seems to be on a down path for sure. It's sad to see Mike Williams and Keenan Allen go, but I mean, and we kind of knew one of them had to go. I didn't think both of them were gonna go.
Oh, I know. I was more convinced that Joey Bosa and Bill Mack were gone more than those two, but
I
they
mean,
decided to keep them. So
as of today, they have 4 wide receivers on the roster.
Wide receiver
That
number one,
includes
Quentin Johnson.
Quentin
oh
Johnson, who
yeah,
didn't have a very good rookie year, but I mean, there was a lot to like coming out with him. And Josh Palmer's played okay. I mean, he's been pretty good. I don't even know who Darius Davis is, to be honest.
the one release I'm kind of curious about is why they decided to get rid of Corey Linsley post June
Agreed.
1st because
Agreed.
he was one of the best centers in the league. I guess he got hurt a lot. I guess that was one of the main things.
And he's older.
They also
Right.
have some
But
players that they're going to have to pay in the next few years. I mean, and they're probably just looking at it right now and they're like, well, we can't afford to pay all these guys. I mean, they're going to have to pay Slater next year, right? Is it next year he's got to get paid?
yeah,
They
definitely.
got Zion Johnson, who was he a first or second round pick? He was an early pick.
He was a first.
And they have Jamari Slayer, who is coming up in I think a year or two as well. So I mean, it might be kind of like a future move. They're just trying to
Yeah.
make sure they can pay the rest of these guys. If you put him aside, I mean, it's a pretty young line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
they
that's a
might be one
very
of the
good
youngest
point.
offensive line, and they're pretty good. I mean, those 3 right there, Slayer, Zion, and Rashawn Slater, they were all guys I had high grades on coming out. I liked all 3 of them, and I think they all play pretty well.
Yeah, I think you made an excellent point on that. I think for them, probably center was the least important of those 3 people to sign. So get rid of the bloated contract there and then just bring in Bradley Bozeman on a cheap center contract and just have the 2 guards kind of keep him protected. So I don't know. I he's really trying to instill what he had in Michigan here with a heavy running offense. I mean, not signing Austin Eckler just meant we're not going to be we're not going to utilize you in the passing game as much. You're not going to fit our system.
No, he said, I have a running back already. His name is Corum. He will be coming very soon, along with 5 other Michigan players at minimum.
I mean, look, they got Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Plus,
very
I can't believe you're still
hardball
in the
type
league,
player.
Edwards, and still producing.
Oh, he's been good when he plays.
Yeah. I think
He
I
got
think
hurt.
Gus if Gus Edwards wasn't injured ever, I feel like he'd be better perceived.
I still would like to see Isaiah Spiller come to form, but we'll see if that ever happens.
Oh yeah,
There,
that was a
I
disappointment.
really liked him coming out as well. I mean, there was a lot to like in him, and it just really hasn't translated to the NFL. Be cool. Be definitely cool if he could make it work.
Yeah, as the Moose said, they're clearly punting, and they're going to build the team the way Harbaugh likes it. And they brought in some key pieces to at least make them somewhat viable. for the style of offense and defense they want.
I know that they got rid of maybe I'm wrong here, Khalil Mack,
No, they
but
kept.
No, he's still
did they
there.
keep him? Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I thought they got rid of him. Didn't even show him on the roster. Oh,
No,
they
he's
do.
there.
They show him as a linebacker. Ugh.
He is a linebacker.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's an edge.
Oh.
God, I hate. I'm not going down this road. I'm not going down.
Yeah. You better stop.
But
We've had
I mean,
tons of arguments
Tuli
about this already.
Yeah.
that Tuli Talopu. I mean, I really, I'm so happy how he's turned out. I definitely think he's going to be a starter on this team moving forward. Where they put him, I don't know, but based on the way they have the roster configured on here, I don't think he's going to be a backup.
I don't think he was last year for the most part.
Nah, he played a lot of snaps,
Where does he play? Because I know Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are
like
on the
defensive
outside.
end.
Oh,
Yeah, they would put him on the like inside rotations and then move him around.
okay.
But
He kind of can play that. He kind of plays like a younger version of Cam Hayward in my opinion. I mean, like not a nose tackle, but not a defensive end. He's like that weird in between. But he's got some power to him, man.
like a 3 tech kind of guy.
Yeah, I really like him.
What do you
It's
guys? Is there anybody that sticks out on those signings that you guys like in, or are you guys just kind of indifferent about them?
I like
mean,
that they
it
actually have
looks-
tight ends now.
It looks
Because
like they were fighting with the Broncos at Goodwill. And they got some of the better picks.
I'm a huge Will Disley fan. Shocker,
I like him too.
but just a solid blocking tight end, or
Mhm.
more than solid. He's way above average.
Does he get
Right?
hurt a lot though?
Yes, he does. Not as much as he has in the past, but the injuries definitely destroyed his athleticism in the passing game. He could still make some good catches on third downs, but he's not going to be a weapon there.
I gotta be honest. I didn't even know Hayden Hurst was still in the league.
Yeah, he was in Carolina last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they signed him to a big contract and then just couldn't develop chemistry at all with Bryce Young. But I don't know. Overall, what do you guys think?
It's a lot of patchwork being done.
Right.
A lot of 1 year, actually all 1 year deals except for what Will Disley and Gus. Obviously, it's a rebuild. They got to turn around fast though with Herbert. Yeah, I'd probably do a C minus.
I mean, the fact that they kept Bosa and Khalil Mack through this, I feel like I gotta give them a C minus. It would be a lot lower getting rid of both of your premier pass catchers.
Yeah, I still think it's crazy that they got rid of both.
Like they show you like, oh, we got to choose offense or defense, and they clearly decided they like the 2 edge rushers more than the 2. Which yeah.
Well, they both get injured, so one's a lot older and the other one gets injured all the time. I get it. It's just, man, getting rid of both of them in the same year, it's rough.
Yeah. I think the C minus is pretty fair.
Definitely looks like they're going for a tight end. I mean, all jokes aside, they kind of look like a team that would go for Brock Bowers.
I would say wide receiver over tight
Well,
end.
the best
Yeah.
pass catcher that's on the board, if Bowers is the one there, I mean,
Well, they pick at 5, right?
yeah, but I
So-
think they might trade back.
Oh, I
think they're
definitely.
kind of in an obvious, the way that their team's laid out right now, they kind of look like an obvious team to be trading back with somebody,
Yeah,
picking up
for
more
sure.
picks, getting as
Mhm.
many Michigan players as possible.
Had to sleek that in there, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just about 50 more times. What do you think?
Let's get out of this so he keeps not doing that. All right, let's do the which team in the AFC West do you guys think did you like the most for free agency?
Not to be chalky, but I guess Kansas City.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say
other
the
three
Chiefs.
are pretty awful.
Come on, no one wants to take a risk.
No,
No one wants to.
I don't think so.
I don't know what
I mean,
risk. I don't know what risk I'm taking. The
Yeah,
other
and
team
yeah, like I
fought at Goodwill for the same players
You're-
for the
you-
most part.
gonna have to take 6 shots of tequila if they didn't do the best. So
if the Chiefs don't win the division, then I'll take the 6 tequila shots.
Can we get sponsored
heard
by
it- you
Patron?
heard it-
That would be
you-
nice.
you heard it here for Casamigos for my
You know, I'd be
$23
okay with that too.
But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other three
Easy.
they got so many gaps in those teams. It's gonna be a rough year. I think Kansas City's gonna put the backups in for all three of those.
Yeah, they've been fighting the Chiefs for years now, and then nothing's been working. So
Yep.
And you got to give it to the Chargers and the Broncos. Like they made moves to try to combat them. It just didn't work. Like I don't think any of us
Yeah.
would have believed that the Russell Wilson thing wasn't going to work out. I mean, like, if you asked me 3 years ago if he was going to blow it up for the Broncos, like, I would have never believed you. I couldn't believe they traded him. I never thought it was really going to happen. And I've chalked in the Chargers probably the last 3 years as a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, everyone does. I feel like
They're always the offseason champs, undeniably.
into the first couple games.
Yep.
I mean, the way Eckler played the last few years, and those 2 star wide receivers, and Herbert, man, I thought that'd be enough, but it's a shame. I mean, they got riddled with injuries.
AFC West concluded. Let's do the AFC North.
Yeah, my favorite.
The Bears' new favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens.
Look, I had a day, okay? I had a day. A lot to take in.
You have no idea how often he was talking about having the Ravens.
Oh yeah, I know.
Was he talking to you about it?
I know. I definitely heard him say it multiple times.
It
Every
looked
single
like such a
transaction.
conservative move that I'm just so used to them doing.
I would honestly be upset with you if you went to the Ravens. I'd be honestly upset with you.
I mean, low key, they're still like my second favorite team. It's hard to hate them.
Disgusting.
They draft all
Yeah,
the
that's kinda
players I like.
disgusting.
What can
That's
I
upsetting.
say?
That's just upsetting to hear.
I love the players. What can I say? They do. Every year they seem to pick some of my favorite guys on the board. Linderbaugh, Flowers. I really liked Bateman coming out.
Why don't you just come to the Eagles then? We could be.
They don't have that many good ones. Kyle Hamilton's another one I've really liked. And who's the one? Yeah, Travis Jones. Man, they have so many guys there that were just sweethearts on my boards the last few years. It's hard not to like them. And honestly, my favorite game of the year is the Steelers and the Ravens, man. It's always a good game.
Yeah, they made a lot of good moves though.
A lot of moves I didn't expect.
Well, like the Justin Madubuike one was expected, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, I felt
they needed
like
to
it
have
was a
that
need.
done. Which I'm surprised. I'm actually
not that
kind of
bad.
surprised because they usually let their guys walk and just keep replenishing their players in the draft. But he was so good last year. I think he earned it. And Ravens were like, we love this guy, and I'm glad they paid him.
One of the weirder deals for them is the whole Odell Beckham deal because he's not going to be on the team, but they're still going to be paying him again because they kept restructuring his contract. And I just didn't understand the signing when they did it. He didn't really do that much for him.
No.
I'm curious to see what the next team is to put a bunch of money into him and him do nothing.
He also got injured a lot, like
He's
usual.
injured a lot for the last.
Yeah, exactly.
What? How long has it been now?
His last good season was with the Rams.
Was that a good season?
That was like 3 games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna call 3 games good?
But he did get that one game or the one touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
great.
he has a Super Bowl ring now. He doesn't have to be good anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't get the Odell hype anymore. I mean,
I didn't understand it when he was with the Browns.
When he signed with the Ravens, I was hoping that he would go back to what he was, or at least show signs of it or flashes of it, because I really want Lamar to have a good receiving core for once.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
They've had some pretty rough losses though this year. I mean, losing Morgan Moses,
Kevin Zeitler.
especially. Yeah, I mean those guys are both really good, and I know maybe not for you guys, but Geno Stone to me is a darn good player. I mean, I think he's a little I think he's a little underrated. I really
agree with you.
I really think there's a lot to like there in him. It's really sad to see the whole J.K. Dobbins situation. I was hoping he really would have gone off this year so they could pay him, but I get it. He's been injured every year, so
I'm gonna miss
they
Devin
can't spend that
Duvernay
money.
on their team. Devin,
I like him too.
he's like he always was scary when he was getting his punt returns or kick returns. I'm like, oh god, here we go.
No, you know what's really scary? Derrick Henry. I'm terrified.
Oh my!
He's just gonna run us over. I'm just like, oh, well, we're just gonna have to put 11 defensive tackles in. It's no big deal.
I can't wait.
And then
to watch Lamar and him
dances around you.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the same team.
Oh.
I cannot wait. It's gonna be the trick plays and all the options and reverse. Like it's just gonna be crazy.
So which one's gonna play quarterback and which one's gonna play running back?
Derrick
It's a
Henry
good
can
point.
throw, man.
Yeah, he
Derrick
can
Henry
throw.
can
He's got a
throw.
lot
Yeah.
of touchdowns on his
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Th-
fighting for that position.
That's just
Making
that's just me now.
They gotta swap they gotta swap contracts. Who wins
That's
the
just mean.
quarterback? I
but
don't care. I love Lamar. But
Derek, I mean, we're just gonna call them Thunder and Lightning because that's
Yeah.
they
what they're gonna
basically
be.
are. Them getting rid of Morgan Moses, I think, is a bigger deal than maybe others think because Ronnie Staley has been injured pretty much every year since he got his last contract. And losing both of your tackles this year, even if Morgan Moses is, a lot older, man, they don't got much for depth at tackle, and it's definitely a little worrisome. I mean, I don't think the interior of their O line is bad, but the exterior portions kind of scare me. I mean, I really hope that Stanley can stay healthy, but if he doesn't, they're going to be in trouble.
I will say Josh Jones has been a decent pickup in case Ronley Stanley goes out. He's always been solid on that left side.
I don't know much about him.
He's always just been this like when he goes in, he plays really well throughout a whole season. I don't think he's consistent enough to be a starter, and I don't think he can be really a good swing tackle because I think he gets I think he's terrible on the other side. Like if he ever plays right tackle, so I think he's strictly there for just in case Ronnie Stanley goes down again. You need that insurance though. Like you need someone who's solid.
I know it wasn't for a lot of money, but I was shocked to see them re-sign Arthur Millette as well because he kind of was a problem on that defense. I mean, they picked on him when he was a Steeler. He definitely was a liability there, and he goes to the Ravens. He's doing the exact same thing. I'm really shocked that they kept him. I don't know if it's because they lost Stone. They felt like they needed him, but I mean,
Probably.
they do play very different positions. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just trying to keep depth in the secondary.
Yeah. Well, they seem to get weak there too year to year. What do you think about that other wide receiver extension, Moose?
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
my god!
I actually
Here
thinks
we
he
go.
played pretty well with them last year.
he
Like
did.
not
I mean,
terrible.
I
Like
want
not to the meme level status that he developed with the Eagles.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just it was the spotlight. I think mostly because even when he went to New England, he had a pretty decent year when he went to New
Yeah.
England afterwards. But also, he's the third wide receiver. I mean, when he was here on the Eagles, I mean, he was like 1, 2, depending on the year,
Yeah.
because we've had some pretty bad wide receiver rooms. So, I think in the spot and the situation that he's in, I think it's perfect for him.
I wouldn't
So,
be surprised if they take another wide receiver
oh
in the
yeah,
trench,
definitely.
though
They
to
definitely need it.
usurp him. So
But I
Yeah,
mean,
you
he
don't.
does block. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I think he really wants to be there. You could really tell he was, really motivated to keep playing well in the playoffs for them. I know
Yeah.
he's not like an all-star player, but I really do think he's a good number 3. I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping he was going to be with the Steelers, to be honest. I really like him.
Yeah, honestly, I am happy he's had such a long career as he had because now he's 30. So
Yeah.
he's been in the league for a while, and I am happy for him that he is.
I do want to know where Jadeveon Clowney goes next. It's like a lottery system every year. You just never know where he's going to go.
I
Or
think
even
he
how
played really well.
I was gonna say, or how well he's gonna
Yeah,
play
but he
because he
also
played
made a lot of dumb plays.
Well,
He-
that's clowny.
clowny.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's why he's never gotten a good contract. I mean, because he just makes a lot of dumb moves. It's not that he's not, athletically he's amazing, but
He pulls some crazy stuff every now and then. You're like, whoa, how the heck
Yeah,
did
exactly.
he
he
do
does.
that?
But he also gets a ton of penalties.
Overall, though, I think the Ravens. I think this is kind of like a weird transition year for them too, because they
Yeah.
lost a lot of big pieces, especially with the O line and their secondary. Well, not with Geno Stone and Patrick Queen. I don't know how they're
Yeah.
gonna quick unless they have a
Well,
lot of faith in their guys to develop real quickly.
I mean,
Um,
Trenton Simpson really did show up
that's
at
true.
the end of last year. I mean, I loved him coming out, and I'm not even worried about them at linebacker with him there.
That's a good
I
point.
think he's just as good. He might even be better than Queen. I really wanted him to be a Steeler as well. But I mean, they still got a Jabo. I would really like to see him come off this year with Titus Howard
same.
gone or Bowser gone.
Mhm.
I was very shocked that they got rid of Bowser as long as he's been there. I mean,
Especially releasing him because like they usually like to let people walk and get those
Yeah.
comp picks. So
Oh, they are one of the best teams when it comes to comp picks. It's dirty how good they are at that.
I've always had a soft spot for Bowser. I know
Yeah,
he
I
has
have
some.
too.
is it because of his name?
Yeah. Yep. No.
How did you know?
What do you guys think overall, though?
I think they did pretty well, even though they lost a lot of pieces. They're still a very good team. I think that their safety room scares me a little bit because they only have 2 guys signed to the roster right now. I'd feel a lot better if they were able to keep Geno Stone. Did he get signed?
Yeah, he went
He's
with
on the
the
Bengals.
Bengals. We'll talk about
Of
them soon.
course, of course.
Um,
Typical AFC North move. We all steal each other's people.
it is weird, but I think probably a B. They
I
definitely
mean,
still need to get some work done, but as of now, I mean, it's been pretty good.
I'll probably, unless you guys
Most,
convince me otherwise, I was probably going to stick with like a C plus, C, just because
Mhm.
how they got rid of most of their O linemen, other than Linderbaum. I don't know. That was like the one couple of moves I didn't really like that they did.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Just
the
you're just leaving
stack.
yourself a gaping hole for yourself for something to catastrophically happen next year.
but I mean,
Yeah,
they do have a ton of picks, and they're pretty good at drafting. I mean, as history has shown. I mean, I do think offensive line is going to be a huge piece of their draft.
Yeah, I mean, if they do that over in the draft, then this turns their offseason grade for me from a C to a B plus.
I mean,
I just
their
think right now they're just leaving themselves open.
their defense hasn't changed that much from last year. But I'll tell you, like, not to be too chalky, but I mean, adding Derrick Henry to this team really changes things. I mean,
Yeah,
Henry, Andrews, Bateman, and Flowers. Like, I love that. I love that group. I mean, and I know Bateman hasn't exactly had the greatest start to his career. I'm still not sold he's not going to be good. I mean, I still think there's a chance, he could come back this year and really show what he did in college. I mean, and Zay Flowers. I mean, he's amazing.
yeah, that's fair.
I,
I can be happy with a B, B minus.
The Derrick Henry signing alone to me it makes it almost impossible to not give them a B at least. I just think it drastically changes things.
yeah, I think that's what was making me a B. I'll go down to a B minus because of point of the O line, which I forgot about. So and how much they
I mean,
moved of that.
Ben Cleveland and Patrick McCarry aren't like, amazing offensive linemen there, but they're not the worst in the league. Like they're usable players. And, if Ronnie Stanley can stay healthy, he's, a really good tackle. And Linderbaugh has shown he's one of the best centers in the league. They could be just good enough to make it with a good passing game with the players they have and at Derrick Henry in the backfield. I mean, I'm not that worried about them. I'm actually terrified of them going into this year.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to be a bad team. We're just talking about like the free agency period so far. And I mean, they're a few injuries away from having a pretty bad O line.
I mean, it's
That's
it's
just what I'm
very
scared of.
it's very rare to see one of the opposing teams pick up a player that makes my stomach cringe. And seeing that one in Roquan, I was just like, oh man, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's not fair. We should be the only ones to do stuff like this.
forever and ever.
Yes, forever and ever.
All right, let's move on to the Bengals real quick. So they made a lot more moves than I'm used to them doing.
I don't think they're done either.
No, absolutely not. They got Geno Stone to fill up that safety room. Akeem Davis Gaither I always liked. I'm glad they re-signed him. And Von Bell. Always loved Von Bell. And I think the big one was Sheldon Rankins because they lost DJ Reader. And I'm surprised they let him go. I think DJ Reader signed a smaller money contract. So unless it's like an age thing, which it might be, I thought they're comparable players. They're
I
paying more for Rankins to have him than keep DJ Reader. I don't know.
I
But
still
I love
think
him though.
I still think they're going to trade T. Higgins though.
Yeah,
It's
I think
it's
so.
so obvious. Like he's not going to sign a contract with them at this point. I would be shocked if he did.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that without. They're not going to take what they did with what the Chiefs did with Snead. They're not going to just go, oh, okay, we'll just take a 7th round pick. Like they're going
Oh
to
yeah.
wait for someone to pay a
Well,
second
didn't Snead
rounder or first rounder.
wasn't Snead a third and a seventh?
It was a future third and a
Well, it's
future
still a
seventh.
third.
I know, but I'm just saying for this year, like they want immediate returns for T. Higgins because
Yeah.
as far as they're concerned, like they're going to try to win now.
Would the Patriots maybe trade with them? Like, I'm really curious to know who would make that move.
Probably after the draft. Like if somebody's like got unlucky with the wide receiver draft part of it and they're
Mhm.
not happy with something through camp.
And this wide receiver free agency has not been a very good one. So, I mean, I could definitely see somebody, jumping after him. I mean, we've already seen it at corner with Snead, and the other weak position was definitely wide receiver. Somebody's going to grab him. I just, it's a matter of time.
I could even see during the draft that he's traded.
Yeah, it
Oh
would
yeah,
shock me.
yeah.
I mean, Eagles traded for AJ Brown during the draft 2 years ago,
That
and he was
would,
in the same situation.
yeah, because then you can know who's on the board when you do it too.
Yeah.
You're like, I want this player. I'm fine with letting T. Higgins go. So if they're on the board by the time this happens, you can have T. Higgins.
You can definitely tell they weren't very happy with their safety room based on their signings this year. I mean, bringing back Von Bell and bringing in Geno Stone tells me that the two guys playing safety last year probably aren't going to be going to be playing safety. I definitely think they're going to move Daxton Hill to corner, if I had to guess, based on some of these moves.
He plays slot, right?
He could play a little bit of everything. That's why I liked him so much. I mean, he's so versatile. I wouldn't be worried with him at corner. I'm still blown away how well Cam Taylor-Britt is playing at corner. I really thought he was going to be a strong safety. Love the guy though. Absolutely love the guy. But I mean, if you look at it, like if it's Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill, and Mike Hilton with Bell and Geno Stone, man, that's a pretty awesome group. And I'll tell you, Jordan Battle at the end of last year, man, I was so happy for him, like how well he played. I mean, he is really coming together. They might be it might be Jordan Bell. I mean, Jordan Battle and Von Bell and Geno Stone on certain downs. I mean, like I really like their backfield the way it looks right now without them making any more moves.
Oh, they filled out nicely with like pretty much solid talent
Yeah,
and depth at all levels there.
Yeah, the
I think,
safety settings was huge.
which is like it's not something you would immediately think because they drafted Daxton Hill high, and I think they labeled him as a safety in the draft. So because you're like, all right, well they're probably fine, and they got Jordan Battle, but I'm glad they did it. It makes you much more versatile.
I gotta say, I think this is one of the most solid defenses we've looked at. I kind of like the backups in a lot of these positions, and I really don't see many holes on the defense. I just really like the way they're built right now. The linebacker room looks pretty damn good. I love Trey Hendrickson, and B.J. Hill. He's awesome, and the addition of Sheldon Rankins, I mean, it definitely filled the hole they need. They didn't need to have DJ Reader there, even if he's an amazing player. That they're making it work with what they can afford to do. Sorry, not to hog up too much, guys. I just really love this defense.
What about the Joe Mixon trade there?
I'm really surprised they got rid of him, to be honest. I really thought they liked him there. It's a shame they couldn't have made it work with him and Zach Moss. That would have been an awesome duo, but I get it. You can't pay everybody. I think Zach Moss played very well last year. I'm very surprised the Colts didn't bring him back.
Well, I mean, they're paying for Taylor. Once Taylor came back, Zach Moss barely even saw the field.
He still got a ton of cap space. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, he played well enough to run a duo in the backfield, especially with a young quarterback who, only played a few games. To me, it would have been a good move for them. I'm more happy for the Bengals, but, what are you going to do?
Also, the Mike Gesicki pickup, I think, was pretty big too.
It's Gesicki.
Whatever.
Have you know?
I knew you were
Little
going to say something
upset.
after I brought it up.
Little upset,
I almost didn't think about bringing him up.
kind of circled his name of like, ooh, we could use a tight end. We can always add another Penn State tight end. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I won't complain. But
Yeah.
I mean, I like the signing.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point there, Moose, because I like Mike Gesicki plus Drew Sample. At least you're not making tight end a weakness
Yeah, exactly.
coming up. So yeah, that's a very good point. And they both can do different things for that offense.
And bringing in Trent Brown is pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
I think
Oh, man.
offensive line might be a first round pick for them. I mean, it almost looks pretty obvious that it's going to be the way their team's set up. I wouldn't be surprised if their first 3 picks were offense based on the way their roster's built.
Guess we'll find out.
I mean,
I
we
know.
say that every year with the Browns too, but they never seem to draft offensive linemen high. You know,
I really do think they're set up to have a good year. I'm really curious to see what happens with Higgins. I mean, even if he is to stay there for the last year, I mean, run it back one more year, trying to get to the Super Bowl. I think they were probably one of the only teams that could have given it to the Chiefs last year. If given the chance. And I think going into next year, they're probably going to be one of the few teams I still think that about.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Joe Burrow was healthy all last year, they'd be such a different team
Oh yeah.
than what they were.
And they're
Yeah.
gonna be
So,
he'll be back and they'll be just as good.
yeah, exactly. They'll be
Hey, they have
right back
Jake
to form.
Browning. Gonna kill it.
Um,
You don't know it yet.
all right. Quick grades. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna rate him pretty high. Yeah, I mean, if they trade away T Higgins, they have to figure out another wide receiver.
That's my only
But they
fear with this
but they
grade.
didn't yet. They didn't do it yet.
Based on
Yeah,
the
I know.
current roster, I do give them an A minus. But I feel like it could change overnight with this T Higgins deal. I mean, I really want to see what they're doing there because other than those two, Jamar Chase and T Higgins, everybody after that is just kind of, I don't know. I just don't think there's anybody else there to really step up. I mean, I saw a little bit of Isavius. I don't know. I really think they need to either get a first round, knock it out of the park wide receiver to replace him, or they need to get a significant trade. They got to do something.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the Joe Mixon and Zach Moss, I think, is a downgrade. I mean, I'll probably do a B
Oh,
plus because I like I like their defensive signings and Trent Brown and Jasecki, whatever the fuck his name is, um, is a huge signing too. I think so. I'll do P plus.
Yeah, I like the B plus one. If they didn't with the corners with Chidobe Awuzie getting lost and Tyler Boyd being gone, they still have to fill out a little bit more of that
I wonder where Tyler Boyd's going.
wide receiver room, unless like Yossi Voss does take a step up. So I like B plus. I do like what they did with Trent Brown. Take a shot on him. Definitely a really good free agency for them. All right,
I agree.
let's talk about everyone's favorite team.
The Browns.
That's not enough. That's not enough excitement out of you.
They did a lot. Holy
I
shit!
feel like I'm getting a massage right now. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, we can't go 10 seconds without making a massage joke, but he deserves it. So
The Jerry
yeah,
Judy thing really surprised me. I would not think that they were going to spend money
though I really
this
like that
year.
they did it. Though I really
Mhm.
like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of their biggest weaknesses.
Yeah, they seem pretty good at finding or pulling away talent from other teams to supplement them for pretty cheap round picks. I mean, obviously the contract was a little bit more than I'd be happy with, but you're still
I think it's a
you're not
pretty risky deal.
yeah, but you're only giving up a fifth and a sixth. That isn't going to really impact your team anyway, especially since you're bringing in all this cheap contracts in, and they just
Yes.
a lot of them are just from the Browns themselves that they had last year that they know worked so well for their defense.
They really stacked up on running back with the signing of Deontay Foreman and Naeem Hines when they already have Chubb and Ford.
Oh yeah, I wonder what
Which I thought was odd.
if they're just taking insurance on Chubb because they don't know how his recovery is going to be.
Hear me out. They got Dorian Thompson Robinson. They got Deshaun Watson. And in this offseason, they also brought in Jameson Winston and Tyler Huntley. Like, that just seems a little weird. I'm really curious what that's about because I thought they really liked Thompson Robinson, based on a lot of things they were saying. I was expecting him to come back, but it's like, why would you bring Huntley and Jameson Winston in the same year? Those two scratch my head. I could see one of them, but not both.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
assume they're gonna pick between one or the other by the start of the season and have still Thompson on, but whoever is better, James Winston, Huntley.
Yeah, I
know.
guess. Yeah,
I mean,
like Jameis
Winston at
Winston's only
$4
at
million.
$4 million. I
That's
don't know how
not
much
bad.
Huntley was, so it's like okay, I'd rather pay four to $8 million depending, just to find out who our second guy is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I like both guys. Don't get me wrong. I just think with some of the cap
It's Tyler.
issues they're starting to come into.
Yeah, they both came in on nothing though.
How much did Huntley get?
I'm looking it up now.
I'm especially happy that they they brought back a lot of their DM guys that worked so well with them this year.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith, he's been playing pretty well for them.
I like Quentin Jefferson too as a rotational guy. He's always been solid.
He's gonna make the moves they need.
Yeah, no, they just really want that rotation and fresh guys while Garrett basically soaks up all the downs. Like Zadarius would definitely come in on passing downs. Hurst, oh man, I don't know enough about Hurst to actually give an opinion, but I know Shelby's like a solid run defender.
Yeah, they gave him a little more than I would have, but I mean, you would know better than I would on what
Yeah,
his value is.
he's a good all around player who I think leans towards run defense. So I mean, I don't mind paying. He's like $4.5 million a year, basically, probably with incentives on playing time due to his older age. But
I am surprised that they brought Jordan Hicks in for the money they did, because I'm pretty sure Taki was about the same. And man, I thought he played pretty well for them.
not just him and Devin Bush.
Well, yeah, yeah, for 1.5 million. Man, that was a serious loss for the Seahawks. All those blocks that he would just get trampled on. Such a
Yeah.
shame.
By the way, they did not release Huntley's contract yet.
I don't really know much about Tony
I imagine
Brown.
it's going to be
I'm
like
curious.
league minimum.
Yeah, I would imagine so as well.
The Deontay Foreman one I thought was kind of odd as well, but I mean, they're just probably looking at depth at running back. I haven't heard anything about Chubb's recovery. I don't know if you guys did, and I'm kind of curious what's going on there.
I'm actually very proud of them in the sense that they didn't straight up release him because they actually would have saved a lot of money doing that. But like he's one of their best offensive players.
I love him. Definitely my favorite running back in the league.
I'm just glad they didn't screw him over like that.
Yeah, I mean that was good on them. I'm
I
curious.
think they're purposely not releasing anything new.
They're purposely not.
Yeah, not releasing anything about not about his injury.
Oh,
I mean, the last it was that he underwent surgery, 2 surgeries, right, on the knee.
maybe it's too soon to give people false hope.
Yeah, September 29th and November 14th were his last 2 surgeries, and that's the last anyone knows.
Yeah, I heard the what do they call it? The physical therapy to get that all back to normal, I guess. I don't know if it'll ever be normal.
Yeah, it was a really bad injury.
Yeah, but I heard it's absolutely grueling.
Yeah, I feel so bad for him.
But yeah, I mean, considering that they're about to get blown up on. This is another one of those teams that's going all in to win this year before they have to get rid of everybody.
Yeah. I would say that the loss of Harrison Bryant is going to be a little more than people will believe. I think he did a lot for them last year, and David Njoku is just not consistent. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like the player and all, but I just getting a consistent season out of him seems like almost impossible.
I mean,
at this point,
last year, like the last what 5 games, 6 games. Like we saw like true breakout with him with Joe Flacco. Like Joe Flacco actually gave him a chance.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Flacco's gone.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, no one really utilized his talents until that point to its full extreme, and he definitely utilized it as much as he could. He definitely took advantage of the opportunities, and hopefully they bring him more in line with those with the scheme and stuff.
Yeah, I think he's had the most opportunity this past year than he's had since he's been there. Because other than that, I mean, it's been flashes.
Yeah, like why else would they extend him? They extended him last year, so
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I'm rooting for him.
Me
kind
too.
of a side note thing here, like I know they made a lot of moves at D line, but I mean they also picked up Siake Inga with I think he was like a 3rd round pick or a 2nd round pick last year. He looked really good coming out. He could definitely still be a starter on that D line. So I mean, if they can rotate these guys, man, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be
I'm
rough
not worried
on that
about
D line, man.
Yeah, I'm not worried about their D line whatsoever.
Yeah,
They do look like they're gonna be a team to draft a linebacker, though. If I had to guess today, that room outside of Koromoa looks a little weak to me. I don't know how you guys feel about Jordan Hicks, but I'm not the biggest fan.
He's like a captain kind of guy where he's just going to get the D in line, which it might need. They were pretty undisciplined on some of those plays Like they would give up a lot of big plays last year, I think, due to those disciplinary and communication issues.
That
So,
backfield's still pretty amazing. I mean,
yeah, it is.
or Delpit, Juan Thornhill, Emerson, and Newsom. I mean, that's a good group.
I don't know. What do you guys think overall? What kind of grade do you guys think you're going to give them?
I think pretty fucking good.
I'm gonna give him like a B minus.
I'd say B.
I was going to go B plus, so we'll go B. We'll just go B.
How about that?
How about that?
How about that? I'm curious to
Yeah.
see what next year looks like. I think there's gonna be a fire sale, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
waiting right outside. You know, it's gonna be a nice little garage sale. Can't wait.
Get
Get
rid of
everything cheap.
Koromoa and come to my team, please.
Yes, please, please. I
No.
would love to have Koromoa. Koromoa and Queen. Oh my god, now that would be a team.
There you go.
Steelers are just gonna sign all the like 32-year-olds off of the Browns.
Woo! We're running it back. I'll take
Bears like,
one.
we have Ogunjobi back home. We don't need that.
I'll tell you, if they do end up having a fire sale next year, I mean, if you look at that O line, I mean, there is a lot of decent pieces they could trade away to rebuild this team. I
That's
mean,
true.
even if they got rid of like one or two, like Batonio or even Conklin, I still think they get some decent value for them, especially with DeJuan Jones back there. There's a lot of moves they could make.
I read somewhere that the only two or the three players they have on contract past 2027 is obviously Watson, Jerry Jeudy, and Denzel Ward. Those are the only three. Which that's what
Yeah.
3 years from now anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's just interesting to think that they don't have any long-term contracts like that.
Yeah.
on those
They've been
guys.
signing a lot of 2 and 3 year deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sold their whole future on Watson. So
Yeah. Kind of an interesting move.
All
which
right.
before everything came out, I mean,
If there wasn't the off-field concerns, I don't think I would have ever questioned it. I mean, before all that stuff came out, Deshaun Watson was one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a shame he did what he did. I still can't believe they gave up the draft capital they did to go get him after that and paid him what they did. It's just, I started to respect them, and then they did that.
yeah, should have kept Baker.
Yep.
I'm not saying that.
All right. Let's move on to the Smelters.
Why can you say it and I can't?
I didn't say anything. I just said smelt.
It's been I haven't been very comfortable with this offseason. It started off kind of bad in my opinion. I mean, I was happy they got rid of Trubisky. That to me had to happen. He's probably the worst quarterback I've ever watched for the Steelers. And I never want to see him touching a football for the Steelers again.
We all warned you. You put the
well,
damn
you gotta
blinders
be
on.
You gotta be positive. Hey,
That's a good
I
point.
freaked out at first. I was very upset. And then I'm like, no, they know what they're doing. Everything's gonna be okay. I trust them. And then, you know, my fears came true.
Someone goes up to you, is like, "Hey, you want a dumpster fire?" And you're like, "Yeah, I trust them. Yeah, yeah, I trust them."
It's, you know, and it's a shame because there was a lot of players cut this year. I mean, you know, Chuk's Okorafor, man. You know, I really think he's underrated. I wish him the best on the Patriots. He was pretty pissed off with the Canada system, and you know they felt it was best to let him go. Yeah, Mason Cole was probably our worst offensive lineman. Definitely was. He was such a liability. I'm so glad he's gone. I didn't understand the signing when they did it. They paid him a lot for being a backup center on the Vikings on the year that I think they were the worst offensive line. I think they were ranked the worst that year. Keanu Neal got released because of injury issues. It was all in medicals. Yeah, I mean there was some really interesting releases this year. I was not expecting things to go the way it did.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was definitely. Well, I want to say Chooks. I'm surprised they didn't trade him.
I couldn't believe they couldn't get anything. Like I would have thought like at least
Yeah.
fifth.
I would have held on to him because Morgan Moses got a fifth or a sixth for him.
Yeah, and I mean Chooks is 5 years
Chooks-
younger than him.
Yeah, so you
He's
probably
only
could have got a
24.
fifth or a sixth for him. Still, that was kind of like it's always good to have a backup tackle, but if he didn't want to play, then you gotta move on from him. Same thing with Deontay Johnson. Like if Deontay, there was rumors that he didn't want to play, or he didn't like how the team was going.
A little disappointed, you know.
Yeah,
A little bit disappointed, huh?
Yeah, that one hurt. That one definitely hurt. I love Deontay.
Don't
And
worry, you got Quez Watkins now.
that was the lowest.
you know what?
Lowest
That
I've
was
seen.
just mean. That was just mean right there. You know,
Instant
I'm trying to
replacement.
recover right now. Okay.
I'm honestly hoping for Quez Watkins is good for you guys.
No,
joke.
I don't want him. I mean, there's other signings,
dude.
and we'll talk about them, but that one doesn't. I don't even really want to talk about that one right now. I don't even know if he's gonna make the team, to be honest.
Yes, he will.
I don't know
He's
about that.
so underrated. He's so underrated.
Speed Boy will make it to the end.
He's
zone
so
before-
dude. I so many times I've
Oh.
watched Quez get open so many times, and like just hurts just not looking at him. But
Wait. Think of this. Picture this. Ready? Russell Wilson moonball.
Quez
Going
Watkins,
to
exactly.
Quez Watkins. That's
Exactly.
the
But then he's not gonna
Now-
catch it.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
I think people do crap on
Well,
his.
You get used to that
He's
with
not-
Deontay.
Hey,
There he is.
hey,
There it
knock
is.
it off. Knock that off right now. I will tell you this. You know, from what the reports are, apparently he wanted over $25 million a year going into next season, and he was not interested in signing a contract for anything less than that. I don't know if I would give him $25 million, as much as I loved him. You know, I'm afraid that paying him is not a good idea, because I just feel like George Pickens is like one step away from really being an elite wide receiver. I mean,
Agreed.
he's definitely getting better. And I hate it, because I just feel like both of them complemented each other so well. It is what it is. I don't understand the trade value. I think that hurt more than anything, because I was like, I was so mad in the moment. I mean, I threw myself. I was so upset about it. I'm not one to do things like that. But I was like, well, we're probably going to get like a second or third round pick for him, like based on the way we've done things in the past. And then I'm like, oh, we got a corner that I don't know, and we swapped our 7th for early 6th. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Now I'm
think a
gonna
lot-
drink.
I think a lot of that was that Deontay didn't want to be on the team, and also they would have to sign him to a contract that he would agree on.
But to be
You know.
fair, I mean,
Okay.
the only time he played well was when Pickett and Trubisky weren't on the field. I mean, he was kicking ass at the end of last season with Rudolph, and you know, I still think that, you know, Russell Wilson is an upgrade over Rudolph. How much? I don't know.
I do generally like the somewhat of the process for the QBs, just because you're like, all right, Russell Wilson, cheap. Like you're going to be way cheaper than anything we got.
Yeah.
Actually, even cheaper than Kenny Pickett on his contract. So take a shot on that. Kenny doesn't want to be there anymore. Trade him away for some pick swaps, and then bring in Justin Fields on a future conditional. Like I don't know how you could play the offseason for when you're needing a QB upgrade better than that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that really bugged me more than anything was like, okay, well, we got rid of our best player on offense, so we just have Pickens now and Wilson and Pickett. And I'm like looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, this is the typical Steelers conservative route. I hate everything about this. And luckily, Kenny Pickett's small hands got really upset. And, you know, they gave him to,
Moose.
you know, I'm really happy they did that.
Moose.
I mean, Moosey, yeah, Moosey. I can put his address up here if you guys want.
Yeah. Moose, you've been name dropping us all goddamn podcast. I don't want to hear it from you.
Really, was it?
I'm sorry, but
Honestly, I didn't even notice that I was.
yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was finally like, is this it for me? Like, am I done being a Steelers fan? Like, because it's just like, like 4 or 5 bad years have been, and I was just so fed up with that. And then when they drafted a guy I did not want, and these two bullied me on draft day so bad, because all I wanted was Malik Willis. I didn't think that was a hard ask.
All we did was laugh in your face.
Yeah,
All
all
we
you
did.
did was laugh in my
It
face.
wasn't bullying.
And all I did was drink a full glass of gin. You know, It's a tough day. I'm
That
glad he's gone,
that is a
honestly.
yinzer for you. So
I am not a Yinzer. I like the team, but I am not one of those people. Don't put me with them.
yeah, they be chugging beer, not gin. So
Yeah, I don't even think they know what gin is.
I'm a fancy Steeler.
I just hated the Eagles so much I had to go with the second Pennsylvania team. So Dante Jackson, reports came out. Apparently, they were trying to get him last year at the trade deadline. They really like him. I was listening to his interview this week, and he's really excited. I think to be in the building. I'm nervous because he's coming off an Achilles injury at corner, and if there's one thing, I don't want any more slow old corners. That was probably our biggest issue last season.
Well, he is fast, so you'll have that.
He was fast. He was
Wow.
fast.
I don't know. Yeah,
Coming off
maybe.
an Achilles injury, I'm not gonna put all my cards down on that.
Yeah.
I hope the best, but today, right now, I still feel very nervous with our corner room.
I was gonna say the one signing I did like was the Miles Killebrew one. I thought he's have a solid special teams player
He's
that
not a very good
always plays.
safety, though.
Yeah, but I don't
Quite
know.
quite frankly, I would have been happier go out and get somebody else.
He reminds me of like he's like the Nick Bellore, where he's just like a good all around special teams player that he's not going to be a liability. He's actually going to be like a plus player for that. So that's why I kind of like him.
I mean, I just look at some of these special teams players they already have picked up. Like, I think they made some amazing acquisitions last year, like for the long run. I know, I don't know how much you guys know some of these names, but I mean, Darius Rush, he was like a fourth round pick last year, and man, he's a speedy guy. He's definitely going to be playing special teams. And Corey Trice, hopefully his injury comes out good, but he's going to be playing special teams as well in similar positions as Killebrew. And it's like, well, I would have rather taken that money and maybe spent it, I don't know, and maybe a replacement for Larry Ogunjobi. I was kind of hoping he was going to be a cap casualty because I just don't think he's a very good player. I just think he's going to be behind Keanu Benton for the entire season because they just re-signed Montravius Adams. He had a great year last year, and they could put him at nose and move Benton over. And I think those three, Hayward, Benton, and Adams, are a pretty solid front. The wide receiver room scares me.
I like the pickups of Van Jefferson. I feel like has. I mean, he's obviously not the best, but I feel
I
like it's a
like.
good. Yeah, he's definitely a good pickup. And like I said, I mean, I think Quez has been underrated his whole career in Philly with the people that he's been behind. And I honestly think
Bear.
I like him a lot.
I just I'm curious if he beats out Calvin Austin because, like, the way I look at him, I'm like, well, you kind of have that Calvin Austin to you. I think he's a little bigger, if I'm correct. But I mean, I kind of like Calvin Austin as our fourth guy more, and I really would not be shocked if he doesn't make the roster.
Yeah, I mean Quez is strictly a deep threat. He doesn't do like end arounds too much. They'll maybe do some screens with him to utilize his speed, but
Like, does he block?
No, not really. But I think his route running has been so underrated in the league. Like even the many times I've gone to the Eagles games when he's been playing, I see him open so often. And with the weapons that Hurts has had his career, he doesn't even look his way most of the time. And most of the time, you'll see him open on his route, and he'll throw his hands up after the ball is thrown because he's wide open. I mean, I think it's something that isn't shown a lot on live games as well because the camera shows where the ball goes. But
yeah.
Like I said, I think he's underrated. Unproven as well, but
Yeah.
I've always liked him.
I love him
always
coming
liked
out. And like,
Yeah.
look, he was always a fun person to watch, what a fun player. And I was like you said, he's always open. And I think Eagles fans just always hate drops. And
Yes.
they'll remember the drops more
Well,
than
they
they'll
just
remember
hate
the big
everybody.
plays.
100%.
And like I think the biggest one with him and that lost the Eagles fandom was in the Super Bowl. So it's
Yep.
like after that, it was like, yep, you can leave now. We're done with you.
Yeah, he's dropped a couple big plays that could have won us games even in the regular season, but also they were tough catch. He's not going to vertical a guy and, win a 50-50 ball, when
Yeah.
a lot of those drops were that. But, when you're a Philly fan, you always expect the best out of your players, like at least.
Tough love.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, on that same topic, not to put you on the spot, but how do you feel about Cameron Johnston, the
The
punter?
punter?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
what?
didn't. He was
Well,
on
he
the.
played for the Eagles.
Oh, Cameron Johnson. Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot. Uh, he was pretty bad.
Oh, great.
He was pretty bad.
Yeah, he's no
Uh,
Presley Harvin. We'll say that.
I was really shocked they released him. I really liked Presley Harvin. He was inconsistent, but man, he could boom it. He
yeah,
could. I would have loved to see him come back another year. I don't know if maybe there's off the field stuff. I have to say, when they drafted him and I saw his weight, I was like, he'll come down about 30 pounds next year. And he came in about the same weight the next year, and he doesn't tackle that well.
yeah,
So I'm kind of like, bro, you kind of got to lose the weight. Like, I hate to be that guy, but when you're a punter and like like I said, if he could tackle, I wouldn't care. Keep that weight on, man. His consistency almost went down with his punting over the last year, and I think his physical traits haven't changed at all. So I definitely see why they moved on from him. I didn't like it. I'm hoping that Cameron Johnston is better, but thanks. Now I have a new
yeah.
fan.
No,
The
yeah,
Texans didn't want him either. So
yeah. I don't know what he's been doing in the Texans, but I know when he was on the Eagles, almost everyone was like, "We need to get him out of here" because he was a pretty bad punter. And we got Brandon Mann since, and he's been so much better. But
Maybe they're gonna draft somebody. I mean, maybe this is just a hole for now. I mean, but I'm pretty sure they gave him like a multi-year deal, which is the only thing that makes me nervous.
yeah, 3 years, 9 mil.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good for a punter.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe
I
he's
mean,
done. Maybe he has been better on the Texans. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
yeah, I don't know either. I'm gonna have to look at that one quite a bit. You
how do you
know,
guys feel about Patrick Queen?
so the two positions going into this draft, I mean, into this process that I didn't think they needed to touch, like just run it back with the same group, was wide receiver and linebacker. And yeah, those are the positions that I feel like they really jumped to first. It's not that I didn't like the Patrick Queen signing. I just think that uh, getting rid of Larry Ogunjobi to me is kind of a need. I think I think center was a big need, and I'm a little upset that either Cushionberry or what's his face, Mitch Morse. That's right, Mitch Morse from the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping one of those two was going to replace Mason Cole, just so maybe maybe at pick 20 we could be looking at either a wide receiver or a tackle. But they kind of failed to do that, and I don't know. Right now they have Nate Herbig in at center. I don't know if he's ever played center.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit. I always thought he was a guard.
yeah. For the Eagles, he never played center.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Nate Herbig, but do I like him as a starter? No,
Yep,
I
agreed.
don't think he's starting talent. I also think we've extremely overpaid James Daniels. I don't think he's worked out that well. He's making a lot of money for a guard, and I mean, I'm pretty sure we're paying him more than Salamalu, which should be a crime. They're both night and day different, in my opinion. I think Samalu is definitely our best offensive lineman. Back to another point, with the releases. I know we talked a lot about it before, but I wasn't a big fan of signing a bunch of old guys like they did last year. And I mean, three of those signings last year, Neal, Patrick Peterson, and Allen Robinson, were all kind of fails. I'm really disappointed. I mean, I just I don't like getting some of these older players, and it looks like they haven't done that much this year, other than getting Russell Wilson. So I'm hoping they've learned from that mistake. They spent a lot of money last year on old guys who didn't like, and I don't think that they're going to bring back Peterson or Allen Robinson. I just think they're too expensive, and I don't think they contributed anything really.
Yeah, I don't
It's a
think
shame because I love Allen Robinson. I mean, he's a great Penn State player. Yeah, it's a lot of wasted money.
Yeah, I was rooting for Allen Robinson. To he was obviously great on the Jags, and since then he didn't really have a chance to show how good he was. So I was hoping.
I liked him on the Bears too when he made some really great plays with them.
Yeah. But I feel like he's just been on a downhill since he left the Jags, you know?
Yeah, played well with crappy QBs his whole career,
Exactly.
except for Matt Stafford.
But
I
the one
think that was the year Matt Stafford got hurt.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot he was on the Rams.
one thing I did want to say though, to go back to the Queen thing. Sorry to jump around quite a bit, but I am excited. I was just hoping that they were going to bring back Quan and Holcomb and have those two, and having Landon Roberts there on running downs. But I mean, Patrick Queen is an upgrade. Like,
Yeah.
there's no question there. Like, I'm happy for him to be there. I didn't expect it. Like I said, I expected them to spend money in other places. But I mean, I still think it's a good move.
It's the contract structure for me that I especially like.
Yeah,
It's like I know 3 years, 41 seems like I mean it's about chalk for a good linebacker,
Mhm.
but like that they're paying him most of it this first year. So it's
Mm.
essentially a 1-year deal, and then everything else is incentives based. So I like how that happened.
Yeah, I really like
Basically,
Patrick Queen.
but I'll tell you, I fell back in love with my team when they made the move they did. I never thought they were actually going to go for Justin Fields, and based on the conference that Mike Tomlin had today, it doesn't sound like they really were talking to the Bears before Kenny Pickett said, "I don't want to play in a competition." I mean, I'm blown away that they got Fields. I'm gonna buy a jersey. It's
That's
happening. You guys can laugh at me,
insane that you are. That's insane
but
that you are.
I
Absolutely
loved them.
insane.
I loved them in college,
Just
and
wait a year, man. Just wait.
no,
Just wait
no,
a
go
single
big,
year.
go
it's
big
like
or
a
go home.
Broncos fan buying a
Yeah,
Russell Wilson jersey.
yeah. Just
Hey
wait a
man, I'm
single
I'm
year.
going I'm going with our motto this year. And if it doesn't work out, I just add a number to it. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be number 15 the next year. I just change numbers on the back. No big deal. I like the name on the back. No big deal.
15 is Denzel Mims, so you're gonna change it to Mims jersey?
Maybe not. Uh, when they take Drew Alar next year, he'll be number one. I'm still waiting to see what number they're gonna give him so that I can get one. But I'm excited. I don't care.
No,
I'm very
yeah.
excited, man.
Yeah, honestly, I would be excited too if I was a Steelers fan, because I like Justin Fields as well. I would still wait to get a jersey. I don't even have an Eagles jersey right now because I don't even know what we're planning. So
Yeah.
You better get a Pickett jersey, bro.
I am I'm never the biggest Fields fan. I like his athleticism is amazing, but I just as a QB I was never a huge fan of him. But for what you're getting out of him, hell yeah, see if he develops for your team. Maybe a new change of scenery like makes that learning curve go up. I mean,
Well,
I think it's great, and especially the culture. The Mike
yeah.
Tomlin culture might bring that out of him. So I'm actually really excited. Maybe I hope he proves me wrong.
I love the scrambling QBs, and you two know how much I love Lamar Jackson. Well, a lot of things Justin Fields can do. I mean, are a lot of things I like about Lamar.
Except
Okay.
throw the ball.
They can both
I was
throw up
like,
the ball. I've seen
I
them
was,
do it a few times.
I was like, please don't finish the sentence.
I don't care. I don't care. It's fine. But you know
That
what you
is a
guys
hot
would
take I've ever heard one.
I don't care.
I see running black QB.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Is that really what we're gonna do right now? Is that what we're doing?
That's
Look,
pretty much the
that's
only comparison between Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson.
really? Really?
Yes.
Look at their stats, bro.
Oh my god.
No. He Lamar won MVP in his second year.
Yeah, well, look at the team that Justin Fields was on, man. Come on. Don't
All
do
right.
this to me.
Let's wrap this up.
Hey, it's a
Come
little
on.
late, okay?
It is
Let's
late.
wrap this up. What do you guys think
is late.
overall of the Steelers and
Ugh.
the overall grade?
I think
I
I'm
would-
gonna go B minus.
I'll go B plus.
I was gonna go B plus.
Just
I think-
because as of right now, losing Deontay is such a blow to the roster, and we don't know really what Russell or Justin Fields is gonna be yet. As excited as I am for that, Wilson hasn't had such a great track record the last few years.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
Justin Fields has been on and off injury, and his performance hasn't been the best. But I also think that was on a really bad roster. I mean, I just feel
Yeah.
like they didn't give him much, and when they did, he got injured, and it just seemed like they didn't want him there, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's just
Yep.
me.
Also, to add one quick thing that I don't think we talked about was the Deshaun Elliott pickup. I like that pickup as
Oh,
well.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
Oh
too.
man,
I think it's
I think
smart.
you're gonna
that one.
I think you're gonna like Deshaun Elliott.
It makes me wonder what they're gonna do with KZ, because I feel like the role he played for Miami, based on what I've seen, is very similar to KZ. So I'm like, I mean, last year they did use a lot of three safety sets, and I love the three safety set. One middle linebacker, and then they replaced the other one with a safety. It's a really nice package. I thought it worked out really well last season, and the fact that they haven't really pushed at cornerback, like I was a little nervous that they were going to really go out and try to get Snead, spend a lot of money there. That I feel like it would have been better to spend money at other positions. But
Mhm.
I think with that trio, they're looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, I like a lot of the moves they've made. I just really
Yeah, I do
hope
too.
they pick up a top wide receiver. And I think this is one of the best wide receiver drafts I've ever watched. If they drafted two, I wouldn't be shocked.
I think you need a center first.
They get
I agree.
for what they could do. I think they did a great job overall.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
they did
other
great.
than the O line was the only one I'd probably be like, all right. I mean, you guys could have done a little bit more.
And
Agreed.
I think
Everything else, I
but
think, is
centers
solid.
not terrible. I think Dan Moore is still doable, and I think Broderick Jones did definitely get better. I think James
Yeah,
Daniel needs to step it up, but I think he's still a good player. And Salamalu is one of my favorite pickups they've done in the last few years.
yeah.
I really enjoy him on that line.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I enjoyed him on the Eagles.
yeah, well, you guys can't have everything.
I'm fine with Landon Dickerson. Trust me.
Yeah, got one of my favorites.
All right, to tie a bow on the AFC North, who do you guys think had the best of who
It's
of the
really
four had the best
tough.
one?
Man,
This
I
is
like
the
all
hardest
of them, to
one.
be honest.
Yeah, this is the hardest one. I think the Bengals for me.
Yeah, I think that's who I'm on too. A lot of the Steelers moves are long-term moves, so it's hard. Like I think a year from now we might look back and say, "Man, that was the move to go get Justin Fields." Might be one of the biggest moves made in the NFL this year. I mean, it might be looked back and they'll be like, "That was crazy," but it could also be junk.
We need to end this.
Bear.
Stop talking about Justin Fields like this. It's insane.
I know.
It's
Hey,
absolutely insane. What
can
he's
I
saying
tell you guys
right now.
one note that I thought was really funny when I heard it?
Is it about Justin Fields?
Actually, no, it's about Russell
Okay,
Wilson.
cool.
Apparently,
Go
they
ahead.
sold out of Russell Wilson jerseys
That's amazing.
Nice.
out of the
That
first
is
two picks.
amazing.
I'm
That's
just like,
crazy.
what? I'm not buying that. You better
That's
not be
crazy.
there more than 1 year, damn it. I'm
I
gonna
have
be there with the eviction notice.
I have a whole old one we could try to dye black and yellow
I'm
if
okay.
you want.
That's fine. I'm I'm going to be on the sidelines with my watch, waiting for Justin Fields time to get in there.
Moose, who you feeling?
Dude, I've been looking at this this whole time. Fuck.
What does your heart say?
It is tough. I really like all their moves,
Yeah.
but I think I agree with you. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I gotta go with Baltimore. I really do.
I think
I
Baltimore's last on my list.
Yeah,
feel
Baltimore's last on mine.
I
Yeah.
just feel like the team they have today is the best.
But we're
Like their
picking
biggest
the
weakness was
moves.
running back, and they filled it.
If I was
They kept
picking the
their
best
star player.
team out of all of them, I might pick them.
But their two
I'm
biggest
not
moves.
choosing the best offseason, or free agency so far. So I just like how sound the Bengals were.
I mean, I agree with you. But the two biggest moves that the Ravens made were, okay, well, we signed our best player on defense, or second best player, depending on who you ask, and they acquired basically the top player at his position at their weakest spot, at running back. So, I mean, I do think they made some really good moves.
Oh yeah, they definitely have. It's definitely wasn't easy. That's just what I think on the Bengals.
It's fine.
You know, my heart keeps saying the Browns, but I don't want to. You know, but
well, that's like I had the same thought. It was like a tie
Yeah.
between the Bengals and Browns for me.
yeah,
I chose the better B.
yeah. I'll say the
don't
Browns
say
just
it
be
like that.
different. And honestly, it was a close. I think it was a close second for me for the Steelers. but I'll go Browns.
All right, well, that'll about wrap us up today. Appreciate everyone listening, and let us know how dumb our takes are.
Agreed.
They're probably really bad.
We're all really dumb.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I think I'm pretty good at
I'm
this.
the smartest man in the room. As he
We just said
he's sitting in his gamer chair drinking a thing of gin.
Yeah.
I'm the smartest, big brain man.
Big
over
brain. Oh, we're gonna get sued. We shouldn't do that. Those two will absolutely sue us.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.